Hello everyone, my name is Brittany Stoltzfus. I am a registered dietitian and I have teamed up with Lancaster Cancer Center to make these videos called Dishes to Nourish. This video will be focusing on a recipe to help if you are experiencing some nausea during treatment or after treatment. Today we're going to be doing a kind of a twist on a chicken noodle soup that I got a recipe, and I'll put the link at the end of this video. But this recipe is from Fine Cooking, and it serves 4 people, and I have the recipe right here that I'm following. And what I love about this recipe is it has lemon juice and then you top it with mint, so it adds in some of those different flavors. I have my rice cooking right now, so the first step is to bring half a cup of water and a half a cup of chicken broth to a boil. And then you add a half a cup of dry rice, just white rice. Again, when you are feeling nauseous, you want to go with more bland things. So white rice in there, half a cup, and then you bring it back to a simmer and you let that go for about 15 to 20 minutes until the rice is fully cooked and fluffy. So I have that going because that takes a little bit. So the side that I'm going to start on, you want to also a large pot. You want to fill that with 5.5 cups of broth. Chicken broth, because we're going to be doing chicken. And then what you want to do as the next step is take 1 chicken breast and chop it up. Pretty easy. So I have a nice chicken breast here. I have a separate area to try to keep things separate from our mint over here and our lemon juice that we'll have be going in later for food safety. That's very important for cancer treatment. Food safety is very important to think about, especially if you have a compromised immune system. So keeping things separate. I would even take a step of sanitizing your workstation after you have cut meat, and sometimes even just washing the boards, keeping your boards separate that are meat boards. So after I cube it, I'm just going to put it in this bowl here. I have that ready to go, so I know where to put it so I can clear my cutting board. I'm just putting them in 1-inch cubes, generally, to your best. We want them to be a little bit on the smaller side because we're going to put them in to our simmering pot right here. So that's going to be brought to a simmer, so medium-high heat, while we're chopping this up. And I will be sure to sanitize that knob in between here. After I'm done cutting the chicken, I'll make sure to wash my hands and sanitize this area before we move on. But yeah, nice cubed chicken. Sometimes it's hard because I feel like cooking can feel daunting or really overwhelming, where this is a very simple recipe: chicken, rice, broth, mint. I grabbed that mint from my garden. Now that we're kind of approaching summertime, you can sometimes have those herbs on hand. Thinking about that, lemons store really well for a long time. So this recipe calls for 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So I just used a fresh lemon and and I squeezed that lemon out to get that 1/4 cup. But you can also just use prepared lemon juice if you want to keep it even simpler. Looks like that area we have to use. So I'm finishing the chicken here. So after you have it all cubed, we're going to add it to this pot after it simmers. So now my broth is at a gentle simmer. So I'm going to add my chicken. Since we took that pause, my rice also finished. So it's about a cup of rice that I have ready to go. But I'll put my chicken into the simmering broth. So I will put that in the broth for about 3 to 5 minutes. That will be coming up to a simmer, 3 to 5 minutes. I also will check with the chicken, with the kitchen thermometer. So mine actually has a really nice diagram on the side, but we want to go to 165 for poultry. But while that is cooking, I'm going to go to a different cutting board. I'm going to get my mint ready. So this is actually out of my garden. So there's different types of mint. This is definitely more of the garden mint, the meadow tea type that you would find, but that works great if you have that in your garden. You can use it. I already washed it. It's always good to wash whatever you're about to use. But mint's actually pretty hardy of an herb. It stays together pretty well, but we do want to make sure we're careful with how many cuts we do. It can bruise pretty easily. So what I'm doing actually is I'm stacking them all up in a row. If you can see here, all on top of each other. I put the biggest on the bottom and the littlest on the top, and I'm just gonna roll them up. I'm gonna take my knife and go in between my fingers and just slice it down the middle. And so what's really cool about mint, you can leave it in those nice little slivers, or after you cut it in half, now that I got them out of that row, what I can do is just do little chops, keeping my fingers back, of course, and you can just have it nice and ready to go. So our chicken came to temperature. It is now at 165, which is awesome. So that means we can add the rest of our ingredients. So after it's all done, we're going to, it does recommend straining it. You can do that if you would like. I actually find that it's sometimes nice and heartier if you keep it in, just because it adds in some of that extra fat and some of that flavor to it, but it's your preference. And then what you want to do is add the rest of the ingredients. So we can actually take off the heat now, turn off the heat, and we can add now the rice into it. So that's about a cup of rice that we cooked in water and chicken broth. That's in there now. And then we're going to add in our 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And then what I'll do is just top it with a little bit of mint. And the mint does, it smells really good. It smells kind of like a tea in a bowl. And also I love this because it's a little bit more substance than just having tea. So you're getting some protein, you're getting some carbs, but also making sure you're being mindful of that nausea. I hope that this was helpful today. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to the Cancer Center.